Look at the little cutie. do 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 do.
Can I mooch? Hey, you patty some French fries here for dinner?
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love those moments. Moments, man. Those moments are brilliant. Love it. Appreciate it. You know. So, what up, everybody? What up, MPCW? What is up? We got your boy Austin Kruger with his homie Mason Stevens. It's gonna be pretty dope. We're gonna get right into business here shortly. I just want to say, everybody, that it's been great. You know, I really love everyone's support, everyone's love and affection when it comes to what MPCW brings to you.
Maybe we'll find it on Saturday.
You know, other than what?
Tina's brownies. Oh. Said the pieces are missing. So I said maybe we'll find the pieces on Saturday.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's so adorable. So the week 4 was pretty interesting. Week 4, we're gonna start off with the top 5 games that we had. The Dragons versus the Chargers. Now I know that Mason and the journalist both chose Dragons, and they were correct, as the Dragons won 33-3. That was a pretty devastating game for the Chargers. And you wonder why they are 0-4. I really thought I was worried for a second about it, but I realized why they were 0-4. They got a lot of work to do as the Chargers. What went on with the Bills and the Wizards?
So we had the Bills and the Wizards squeaked out a 4-point victory.
Very close. Very close game between the Bills and the Wizards. I know that you chose the Bills, and also so did the journalist, and you guys were wrong. I chose the Bills too.
We were all wrong.
We were all wrong. It was close, but it looks like an interception from what the rumors have it. An interception towards the end was a clutch, and that's how they ended up with the 4-point victory. The Seahawks versus the Black Knights. Let's talk about that game, my brother. That was a very kind of close game, pretty good game. What are your thoughts on that one? What happened on that one?
You know, Seattle came ready to play, but thankfully we just had the upper hand. We wanted it more, and we took the dub.
Absolutely. With the dub of 28-14, I went with the Black Knights, and so did the journalist. So we kind of predicted that right. So Black Knights got the victory over the Seahawks. The Texans versus the Jaguars, 2 undefeated teams at that point. One of them came out victorious. What team was that, Mason?
That was the Jaguars, and they won 28-20.
Ooh, what a close battle. I would love to watch some CPU battles like that in the franchise, just to kind of, you know, have that option that, hey, maybe I want to watch this game happen. Right. You know what I mean? Like, these are the top 5 games, you know, so may as well. You know, so, and then the other top 5 game, we had the Browns versus the Raiders. The Browns were the underdog. The Raiders were the top dog. And who won, Mason?
It shouldn't come as a shock to either one of us, my brother. But the Raiders beat them 20-6.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm sorry.
They're gonna attack me.
Hey, why don't you go watch TV in my room?
You know, so yeah, the Raiders didn't just win; they destroyed the Browns 20-6. That's pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
That sucks. That sucks. But overall, though, I chose the Bills, the Black Knights, the Texans, and the Raiders, and I only got two right. So now I got 5 points on the season. No, yeah, 5 points on the season. And Mason, you really only chose the Dragons to win that week. So you only got 1 point. So that brings you down to 6 points of the season. And then the journalist almost had a clean sweep, picking the Dragons, the Black Knights, the Bills, the Jaguars, and the Raiders. And the only one that the journalist was wrong with was the Bills. But she got a whopping of 4 points. And right now, the journalist is leading with 7 points, Mason 6, and Austin 5. We're going to go ahead and figure out 1 second. Seems like we got some technical difficulties going on the Mason cam. So if you are watching right now, definitely comment below on what you guys think about the scores. Even if you are watching later on, what are you shocked about the scores? And like I said, Dragons walked out with the victory 33-3. Wizards walked out 39-35. Black Knights won 28-14. The Jaguars won 28-20, and the Raiders crushed the Browns 20-6 in our Madden 25 franchise. Yeah, so let me go ahead and figure out what is going on here on the technical difficulties real quick. All right, so we are right now I'm going to go ahead and continue the broadcast here. For the NFC Offensive Player of the Week, we had Brock Purdy from the 49ers, as he had a whopping of 345 passing yards, 6 touchdowns, and a rushing touchdown along the way. The NFC Defensive Player of the Week goes to C. Ward from the 49ers, as he had 7 tackles, 2 interceptions, and a touchdown on the defensive side of things. And for any extra information, it was back-to-back Defensive Player Award for the 49ers. So the 49ers defense is really kicking, really trying to push. I think the 49ers are going to go to the playoffs, and they're going to be a threat. That's just hands down what's going to happen. Right now, we're going to go with the AFC Offensive Player of the Week, as we have Joe Burrow from the Bengals that had 329 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown, and only sacked once. The AFC Defensive Player of the Week goes to Gene Newsome II from the Browns with 3 tackles and 3 interceptions. Right now, the team records in the AFC East, we got the Patriots 3-1, the Bills 2-2, and the Dolphins 2-2, and the Jets at the bottom of the division 1-3. On the AFC West, we got the Raiders just taking on the division undefeated 4-0. The Dragons right behind them with a game behind of 3-1. Broncos only getting 1 victory and 3 losses, and the Chargers still yet to find a W in the win column. So the Chargers, I'm really hoping they get a victory on that. And it seems like we got Mr. Mason Stevens back. What up,
Sorry
bro?
about that. Important business call I had to tend to.
Absolutely, my brother. It's all cool. It's all cool. Bless you. No. Yeah, right now we're talking about the AFC South. Can you tell me what's going on in there, my brother?
Alrighty, so with their big win over the Texans, the Jags move into first place in that division with a record of 4-0. Right behind them, of course, the Texans at 3-1.
Yep.
Then we got the Titans at 2-2, and the Colts still unable to find a win at 0-4.
Yeah, there's a few teams like that, which is really weird. And I'm actually hoping they do get that W because I know how it feels to be on a big losing streak. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So the AFC North, we have the Steelers at 3-1, the Bengals at 2-2, Wizards at 2-2, and the Browns at 0-4. Again, another team that can't get a W in that win column. What's going on with the NFC East?
With the NFC East, still flying high at the top, you got the Eagles at 4-0. And then fighting for that second place spot in the division is the Commanders and the Giants, both sitting 3-1.
I didn't realize that. That's a very close matchup between those three.
And then sitting in last place, no shocker to any of us, the 1-3 Cowboys.
Which is shocking to me, actually. I got to figure out what their injury situation is because they're 1-3, and that's very odd for the Cowboys. I'm really hoping they come back later on, and try to get back up there in the division. Now, the NFC West, in my opinion, is really not doing that good. I mean, you got the 49ers at 2-1, Rams at 1-2, so only a game behind technically. And then both the Cardinals and the Seahawks are sitting at 0-3. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, you fought the Seahawks, right?
Yes.
28-14 victory that you guys had, but overall, it's like, what are the Cardinals and the Seahawks doing?
Right. Because when I played them, obviously they put 14 points up on the board and they looked good. But
yeah,
the record's
just not getting it. Now, let's talk about very tight. In very tight division, you would think this division, how do I put this? This division needs to be knocked up a little bit to get a little loose because they're a little bit too tight. So this is pretty easy to announce there, Mason, but go ahead and announce what's happening in the NFC South.
All four teams are 2-2.
There's really nothing else to really say. They're all 2-2 in this division. The NFC North is a very tough number one spot as the Black Knights and the Bears are both sitting at 3-1. Black Knights this upcoming week has a bye week. The Packers are 2-2, and the Vikings are 1-3, which is odd because Vikings were in real life were in the playoffs. Technically, they were in the wild card. So Vikings and Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold in real life took off the purple jersey and put a green one on. So that's what happened to the Vikings. So all hail Sam Darnold. But let's go ahead and talk about the
Other way.
The NFL passing leaders of this division. Now, this doesn't shock me, but really what kind of makes this curious and kind of makes this kind of worrisome is we do have Lamar Jackson sitting at number one in the passing league with 1,317 passing yards, 11 touchdowns, but the interception rate kind of scares me. Lamar's, yes, he's gaining the yards, gaining the touchdowns, but the interception rate kind of should bring that quarterback rating a lot down. But he is sitting at a 66% completion rating. Why don't we talk about Josh Allen here real quick? What's going on with Josh Allen?
Josh Allen sitting in the second spot at 1,153 yards, 10 touchdowns, and only 3 interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
And he also had a 68% completion rate.
Damn, that's pretty dope. Now, In third place, which I kind of feel that the NFL and Madden is rigging this quarterback. I know they're basing it off of the passing yards, but if you look at the touchdown to interception ratio, look at Joe Burrow sitting at third place. You see what I did? Third place. But this motherfucker has only thrown one interception. He had 1,122 yards and 12 touchdowns. 12 touchdowns. And with a 76% completion rating. Going only into 5 weeks in this, Joe Burrow and Madden 25 right now, the Bengals kind of scares me. It really does scare me. Why don't we talk about the quarterbacks with the most interceptions?
Alrighty, so we actually got a 4-way tie for the quarterbacks with the most interceptions. You got Lamar Jackson from the Wizards, Kyler Murray from the Cardinals, Matthew Stafford from the
Which
Rams.
you helped with that.
And then this one's kind of a shock. Gardner
Exactly.
Minshew from the Raiders with 8 interceptions.
Why do you think when I'm sitting here and I'm writing that and I'm like, wait a minute, the quarterback that's on the undefeated team with the Raiders is tied with the most thrown interceptions?
That whole area.
Yeah, I don't understand. But quarterback that has been most sacked is a 3-way tie, as we have Justin Herbert from the Chargers. Really doesn't shock me, sitting at 0-4. Kirk Cousins with the Falcons, and Jaden Daniels with the Commanders. All of them been sacked 12 times.
God damn, 12?
12 times and going on into the 5th week. So that is definitely something. Why don't we talk about the NFL rushing leader? Who's in first? I don't know why that still says Lions.
Well, first you have Jahmyr Gibbs from the Black Knights with 425 yards, 6 touchdowns, and he's averaging about 106.3 yards a game.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's a good average for a run game.
And then sitting in second, you have Travis Etienne Jr. from the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Which kind of, actually, no, it doesn't shock me because they're 4-0.
He's sitting at 334 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 83.5 yards a game.
Woo! Damn. What about that third?
Third is going to be, which is funny, Kenneth Walker III from the Seattle Seahawks. He's got 327 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 81.8 yards a game.
Damn.
What?
That Jamar Gibbs.
What?
Sorry, Mason's trying to catch his dog. But we got Jamar Gibbs, like I said, really in first place. And I really hope you have that run game. But just know this. I'm going to announce this. I will not be trading my number 10. I will not be trading him because I think Breece Hall and him are the perfect duo. But Breece Hall, if you go into the stats, he's creeping up and he's only in the game 2 on the team. So just keep an eye on where Breece Hall is and know that he's only been playing he was on the Jets, but Jets are on a losing record anyways. So Breece Hall can only do so much. And still holding the rusher with the most fumbles is Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. Patrick from the Dragons and Lamar from the Wizards still at 2 fumbles. Let's talk about the NFL receiving leader. Who is first? This kind of shocked me a little bit.
We got Mr. Brandon Ayuk from the 49ers with 427 yards and 7 touchdowns.
Yeah, that kind of shocked me a little bit. In second place, we got Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'm just going to say that. 418 yards and 7 touchdowns. And who is in third, my brother?
We got Josh Downs from the Colts with 406 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Not bad, not bad. And still the person or two people with the most sacks, which are kind of funny because last week they both had 5 and now they both have 6, is Marcus Davenport from the Black Knights and Max Crosby from the Raiders. You don't want to at all face the Raiders, do you?
I don't think so.
Wouldn't that be shit? I hope not, because both Wizards and the Dragons are in the playoffs. But can you imagine a Super Bowl Black Knights and the Raiders?
Ooh.
That's gonna be hectic. We do have 29 spots. If any of the subscribers want to pick a team and be a part of this, then go right ahead. The person with the most interceptions is actually Fred Warner from the 49ers with 4 interceptions on the season. That I thought was a pretty interesting fact. Who has the most forced fumbles?
That would happen to be Brian Branch
On
from the
what
Black
team?
Knight.
Hitting the his stick a little bit, huh?
With
Maybe.
2 forced fumbles.
2 forced fumbles, and that was a creep too. I like that. That like it just like everyone was tied, and then all of a sudden, like bam, 2 forced fumbles. I'm like, all right, this dude's hitting the his stick with that guy. The top punt returner is actually Stephon Diggs from the Texans, which I totally forgot he was on that team. I totally like forgot that he was even existed on that team. Like, I forgot that he's not the Bills anymore.
What's wrong, Phoenix?
But only 54 yards. The punt returner is returning league right now is not going too good. You know, only 54 yards so far going into week 5. But the top kick returner, why don't we talk about that, Mason?
It belongs to Xavier Worthy from the Dragons with 328 return yards and his longest return being 50 yards.
The longest return in the league right now is 50. I think right below it is like 48, 49. I can't remember, but whoever was close, nice try. But why don't we go ahead to finish this off? Let's talk about the top 5 games for week 5. So the first game I want to talk about is the Black Knights versus the bye week. Who do you think is going to win?
Black Knights, obviously.
No, but seriously though, we got the Wizards versus the Bengals. Now the Wizards are 2-2, and the Bengals are 2-2. This is going to be a tough decision, knowing how close the game was for the Wizards and the Bills. What do you think is going to happen in this game, and who do you think is going to walk out victorious?
Let me see. That's a tough one. That is a very tough one. But I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and I say the Wizards are just gonna keep that momentum flowing. Hopefully, it's not as close as last week.
I'm hoping not.
But the Wizards got my pick on this one.
Absolutely. The journalist picked the Bengals, so she's going to be a heel on this one and pick the opposite of us, and hope that the Bengals do beat the Wizards. We got the Saints versus the Dragons. What do you think? Now, the Dragons we are 3-1, and the Saints are 2-2.
I gotta go with the Dragons. You know, they've been a hot team the last couple weeks, and I think they're gonna keep that rolling.
Absolutely. Now the third game that we picked was the Bills versus the Texans.
Love you. Okay.
Who do you think is going to walk out on that one?
See, that's another tough one. You know, both teams. You know, the Bills are sitting at 2-2, and the Texans are sitting at 3-1. But they're, in my opinion, they're both teams that could easily be undefeated.
Yeah, absolutely. Even with all
So
the threes.
I gotta go with the Texans.
Oof. You know, I'm gonna go with the team that I hope goes to the Super Bowl this year, and that is the Buffalo Bills, because a lot of people sit here and be like, listen, they're in my division. They shouldn't win. No, if they're in our division, they're representing our division. So if you are a Jets fan, a Patriots fan, a Dolphins fan, root for the Bills. They're in our division. At least we could be like, we're going to go up against the Super Bowl contenders or the Super Bowl winners twice next year. That's going to be interesting. That's going to give us two opportunities to face a Super Bowl team.
Exactly.
I will be honest though, if Mark Andrews did catch that, I think Baltimore would have won. And the reason why I say that is because that is when the Bills would have choked. Because Baltimore was already coming in hot towards the second half. Like they were coming in. They were already on fire. If they got that 2-point conversion, Lamar was already in that zone. It was over.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Allen would have done something under pressure. So I do think that if Mark Andrews caught that, Baltimore would have advanced. They would have beat the Bills in overtime. All right, did you say Bills or Texans?
Texans.
Yep. I'm going to go with the Bills. Dolphins versus Patriots.
I'm going with the Patriots. The record says it all.
Yep, the Patriots are sitting at 3-1 and the Dolphins at 2-2. So I'm going to go with the Patriots, even though, I don't like them as a Jets fan, but I'm not here to be biased. All right, and speaking of being biased, let's talk about the last game of the week. Raiders versus Broncos. Raiders are 4-0. Broncos are sitting at 1-3. Who do you think is going to have the upper hand?
I gotta go with the Raiders. They've been hot all 4 weeks.
Yep.
They're gonna continue it.
I think so. I think we're going to see next week a 5-0 team. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the journalist chose the Bengals, Dragons, Bills, Patriots, Raiders. Let's see what happens in week 5. Make sure to tune in for the Black Knights game, for the Dragons game, and let's see y'all next time. Whoop, whoop, and peace.